It's me, Desi Ernest, professional investor, and I want to welcome you guys here to our newest episode. This is our third episode of the Note Investing for Newbies live that we put on every Tuesday at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. And I'm excited to be your host today and be sharing some information with you. Today, actually, I'm going to be talking about something that is pretty darn exciting. And that is, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some information on how you can literally create passive income into your life and become a millionaire over the next 4 years by investing in notes, following a very simple plan that you can follow on a part-time basis, even if you have a full-time job. So I'm excited about that. And I want to be sharing that with you. And hopefully this is something that you can share with others. As a matter of fact, I want to just ask you guys, if you would, to like and share this program right now. Let's see if we can get some bodies on here. Okay. And so what I want to do is just kind of help you guys understand what note investing is and what notes are. Because as I said, the name of the show is Note Investing for Newbies. And so my underlying assumption is that you're either brand new to note investing or you're relatively new to note investing. And so I'd like to start by just kind of making sure that we're all on the same page. Today's program is actually brought to you by the Note Investor University. And you can join. You can go to the Note Investor University and you can check us out there. We have lots of training and courses that are there that you can tap into to learn the things that you want to learn. And so if you want to head on over to Note Investor University, we teach people how to do the things that I'm going to be talking about here today. So I'm excited for you guys and excited that you guys are going to be a part of this. All right. So let's see here. Note Investor University. Oh, by the way, I also want to tell you too that you can go to my website too. If you want to learn more about how note investing works, you can head over to my website, have tons of free content over there. It's called investbrilliantly.com. And at investbrilliantly.com, you can sign up for the Note Investor University. You can also join our network, which is called the American Wealth Builders Network, in which it's a network of investors and entrepreneurs. We get together and online. It's like a personal private Facebook group, except it's not on Facebook, right? So that's the way I'd like to describe it to you. But you'll get a chance to connect with real investors doing real deals, and you can learn a lot there too. So I'm going to invite you to go over to American Wealth Builders Network.com, because on the American Wealth Builders Network.com, you'll make some connections. All right. So, hey guys, I want to welcome you guys here today. If you guys want to hit me up in the chat and let me know where you're joining us from, that would be helpful. I do appreciate that. I know that we've got some folks here from California. I'd like to know where some of your other guys are from too. Just put it into the chat. I will give you a shout out as we are going through this. Also, if you have any questions, stick them into the chat. I'm monitoring the chat as I go through today's session so that you guys can feel free to ask questions. And I'll do my best to try and get you guys the right answers or whatever answers are appropriate for you. All right? So welcome to Note Investing for Newbies. Now, if you're not familiar with note investing, I want to start by telling you what a note is. A note is basically just a promise to pay. That's what a note is. So we call them promissory notes. There's different types of promissory notes. It's basically an IOU, right? So if you go borrow money, maybe to buy a car or to buy a diamond ring or to buy a house, you're going to sign something that basically says, I am agreeing hereby to pay you back. Okay. And if you're doing that, then in fact, you just signed yourself a note. I see we've got Sal here from McKinney, Texas. Welcome, Sal. I'm glad you're here today. Totally happy to see you. When you invest in a promissory note, the type that we do with mortgages, then what happens is the real estate that the mortgage is on, the real estate becomes your collateral. That means if the people don't pay you, you get to take their house or their apartment building or their mobile home or whatever it is the mortgage happens to be collateralizing. And so that is the way that you can avoid losing money. That's why known investors don't very often lose money because we have collateral, just like the banks, right? Because to those homeowners, we are the bank. So I just want to remind you guys of that and encourage you to know that if you're investing in mortgage notes, it's a pretty safe investment. One of three things is going to happen when you invest in mortgage notes. Either the people are going to pay you like they said they would, or they're going to pay you off early. Maybe they sell the house or whatever and pay off the mortgage, or they just don't pay you. And as I just said, if they don't pay you, then of course you get the real estate. And since the mortgage is always a lot less than the real estate, you actually can make more money. A good example of that is I've just today recorded a deed on a piece of real estate in New Jersey that I got back. I have $160,000 invested in this particular property, I think is the number. And we are selling it for $260,000 because the people didn't make the payments and we got the house back. Okay, so there's about $100,000 in profit in this transaction. You can do this kind of stuff with note investing. So that's a really, really good return. All right, let's see who else we got on today. I saw Sal on. I see we got Ronnie Bass on. Welcome, Ronnie. See we got Mr. Madison is on with us today. Thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate you guys being on here today. All right, so let me share my screen with you guys and show you some things here on this note investing tip, because I'm going to be showing you how to make $5,000 a month. And by the way, what I'm sharing with you is not just something that I read or that I heard, it's something that I did. Okay, so let's just get that out there on the table. This is not theory. This is not something that someone else can do that you can't do. I did it. All right, I did it, and I did it at a time when I was 63 years old. That's when I started it. And by the time I was 65 years old, I had already surpassed what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And I had already literally become a millionaire from this note business, following this exact plan. All right. How's that sound? Who on here wants to know that they can be a millionaire in the next, let's say, 2 to 4 years? You want to know that? Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that's what I'm talking about here. You can do it. Now, will you do it? I don't know. Right? Not everybody will step up and do what needs to be done. But if you will, and if you want to, I will show you exactly how to do it. Today is just an overview of how the program basically works. So let's move on. As I said, we're going to show you how to get it done in a 4-year period. That's plenty of time to get this done. And so I hope that you guys will embrace this and take it for real. Most of us are using what I call the employee plan. This is what we're sold. This is the bill of goods, in my opinion, that we're sold when we go to school, right? Because basically schools are designed to train and provide the marketplace with worker bees, employees. Nothing wrong with that. We all need people out there doing the work. So I'm not putting that down. I'm simply saying, though, if you're trying to become wealthy, being an employee is not the right route to do it, to become wealthy, right? So that's all I'm talking about. And most of us have followed this plan. The plan is pretty simple. How many of you have heard this? Go to school, right? Get a good education, right? And then get out and get a good job. And then work what I call the 40-40 plan. Work 40 hours a week for 40 plus years. And then it's all good, right? You get to live your golden years in retirement and just travel the world. But we all know that that's really not how things work out for most people, right? The world and America is filled with people who follow that plan. They went to school, they got a degree, they got a good job, they worked for 40 plus years. And they're not able to live their golden years in any type of real luxury or anything like they thought. As a matter of fact, I used to live in a senior community because I am a senior and I enjoyed living in a senior community. But one of the things that I noticed right away with my neighbors, all of the other seniors, most of them were living in fear. And their number one fear was that they were going to outlive their money, right? They have a certain amount of money saved up and they don't want to outlive their money because they don't want to wind up homeless. And so that was a big fear for people. And so that really brought it home to me how life really works, right? That 40 plan, go to school, the employee plan, that's not really the right plan if you really want to have a good retirement, if you want to live a good, strong, uh, enjoyable life while you're still young. You don't have to wait until you retire. Because here's what I want you to know. Retirement is not about an age, right? If that were the case, there wouldn't be any 70-year-olds working at McDonald's or Walmart. If retirement was about being 70 or 65 or whatever, retirement is not about age. Retirement is about income, right? Passive income, especially. If you want to retire, you need to have a source of income that comes in whether you go to work or not. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to retire. Because when you're working, the reason that you work is to create income into your life. But you're working, so you're doing what we call active. You have active income. The goal is to have passive income. Now, Social Security gives you passive income, but it's not normally enough to help you live in any lifestyle of luxury. Maybe if you have a pension at retirement, you could have passive income. But I'm simply saying, why do you have to wait? Right? I wish I had recognized or learned what I'm teaching you today. I wish I had learned this in my 30s or 40s. You don't have to wait to retire. You can retire anytime you want, and it has to do with how much income you have coming in, right? So if you want to quit your job, then you can do this, and you can quit your job. You know, when I started investing in mortgage notes, I had a job. I've only had a couple of jobs in my entire life, and then none of them have lasted a really long time because I'm such an entrepreneurial spirit. The longest that I've ever worked any job is 7 years. But I've only had, as I said, 2 or 3 jobs in my entire life. But I quit one. I had a job here in San Diego managing a real estate office for a buddy. And when the time came and I had started building up my note investment portfolio, I quit that job. And I remember my wife being a little bit nervous. She's like, well, you know, that's pretty much a steady income there. And I said, look, I'm not worried about that. In 2 years, less than 2 years, I had already replaced that income with note investing income, the way that I'm going to show you right now. So I don't know where you are, but I mean, they were only paying me like 50 grand a year. And it was a little part-time job managing an office. I didn't even have to work 40 hours a week. Most weeks I worked about 10 to 15 hours. So it was decent income for the amount of time that it required. But I didn't even want that, right? I want to be completely free. I don't want to be answering to anybody. Anybody else feel that way? Right? Getting tired of answering to the man, as they say. All right. We don't want to be there. Yeah. So I get it, right? Yeah. Chiquita says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. All right. So let's take a look at the investor's plan. This is the plan that I went on, that I'm still on, and that you can certainly get on too. Several of our students, many of our students, not just several of our students, are on this plan, and it's working well for them. So I'm going to show you this. You're going to create $5,000 a month in passive income by investing in mortgage notes, and you're going to do it. This is my favorite part. You're going to do it using other people's money. How's that sound? Using other people's money, right? I mean, I know you may have some money, and that's fine. But if you do, just put your money in the bank, or actually buy a note or two with your money and let someone else do that. And you can collect money on your notes, but you're not going to build $1 million note portfolio with your own money unless you have a lot of money. So you have to learn the skill set of using other people's money. And I see Rodney says, yes, I'm in for that. Ronnie says, that sounds good. Thank you all. I do appreciate that interaction. All right. So let me show you how this works using other people's money. So these are the steps, right? As I said at the beginning, this is a high-level overview of the steps involved in creating $1 million note portfolio. Step 1 is you need to find a note that has a good payment history, because what you're going to buy is a type of note known as a performing note. Now, if you're new to note investing, I just want you to understand that basically there's two broad categories of notes regarding the pay histories, and that is performing notes, where people are making their payments every month, and non-performing notes, where people are not making their payments. They're in default, right? And what I'm talking about today is building a portfolio of performing notes, because the goal is cash flow. So obviously we don't want to buy mortgages where people aren't making their payments if we're trying to get monthly cash flow, okay? And so we're looking for notes where people are making their payments. Step two, you want to invite a joint venture partner into your deal. Now, if there's one place that I see newer note investors mess up, it's right here. It's right here. They approach people, maybe a partner, maybe a family member or a friend or some other person that they know that might have a little money. They approach them like this, right? With their hat in their hand, like they're beggars, right? This is how they approach. And so I'm telling you, you're not begging anybody for anything. I don't want you walking around with your hat in your hand like you're begging for something. Put your hat on your head, right? So you can look as good as me. Well, I don't know if that's possible, but you can try to look as good as me. How about that? Oh, man. So we're not begging. We are literally inviting people into our deals. What you need to understand is that when you have the skill set to structure these deals, you have just literally brought the most valuable piece of an investment to the table. You just brought the most valuable piece of the investment to the table. I said that twice because everybody thinks the money is the big deal. There's so much money out there right now looking for a home that it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. People have their money right now invested in all kinds of crazy things because they don't know what to do with it. Here we can help people put their money into a safe spot. And I'm going to show you in a minute just how safe this really is for the investors who put their money into your deals. But you need to understand, this is your deal. You're not begging. You're offering an opportunity. You're inviting people to participate with you in your deals. If they see it, that's great. If they don't see it, so be it. Move on. Invite someone else. Someone will see it, because if it's a good deal, it's a good deal, right? And if it's not a good deal, it's not a good deal. You shouldn't be inviting anybody into it. But if it's a good deal, it's a good deal. And somebody will recognize it for what it is. They'll say, you know what, that's a good deal. Let's do this. So that's step two. That's where people mess up right there. They go in with the wrong posture. So at the Note Investor University, we'll be teaching you how to go in with the right posture, how to talk to these people to invite them into your deals, the right things to say and things not to say. We'll teach you that, and how to put your whole presentation together so that they will say, in most cases, they'll say, yeah, let's do that. Let's move forward. Step three, you want to buy that note at a discount. Now, I'm going to show you an example of that right now, how that happens. But basically, what that means is if you're going to buy the note for less than what the borrower, the homeowner, owes to the bank. So if the homeowner owes, for example, $100,000, you will not pay $100,000 for that note. You're going to pay something less. That's called a discount. And there's some wonderful things that happen when you buy at a discount. I'm not going to get into those things today, but obviously, anytime you can get a discount on something, it's a better thing, right? Just we all know that. And then you're going to hire an asset manager or a loan servicer to interact with the homeowner for you, so that you don't have to deal with the borrower or the homeowner, right? You don't have to talk to them, because we're trying to make passive income here. We don't want to be dealing with stuff if people have questions and stuff. So we pay a loan servicer to handle that, and then you just sit back and start collecting monthly payments. Now, that's the process. Any of us can do it. Let me show you an example of one that I did. This is one of the very first ones that I ever did. And I called it the Buckeye Beauty. And I still have this note. I still have the relationship with my JV partner on this note. So here's the story on this particular note. This was a note that Chase bank originated with the homeowner back in 2005. So Chase Bank, these people went to Chase and said, we want to buy that house right there. We need a mortgage. And Chase said, okay, that's fine. We'll give you a mortgage if your credit's good. And obviously theirs was. And if you have a job, obviously they did. Otherwise, Chase would never have given them the mortgage. So Chase gave them the mortgage in 2005. And Chase had them sign 2 documents that were really important. They signed a lot of documents, but the 2 most important documents Chase had them sign was, one, they had to sign a mortgage. A mortgage is basically a promise to pay. I'm sorry, they had to sign a promissory note. That's usually the first thing you sign, is the promissory note, which is the promise to pay. They say to Chase, we're going to pay you back. Then the second thing they sign is called a mortgage. The mortgage basically says, if we don't pay you back, you can take this house away from us. And so that's what happened in this case here. These people signed those documents. In 2012, you guys remember we were still coming out of the recession. Chase modified the loan for these people. They gave them a loan modification in 2012. So here's the rest of the story. This particular house, at the time that we bought the mortgage note from Chase, this particular house was valued at $65,000. The people owed $46,000 to Chase. Okay, that was what they owed on the mortgage. Their payments are $413 a month, and they had 15 years left to pay. That's the way the deal went down. Okay, so the unpaid principal balance at that time was $46,000, but we were able to negotiate a buy price of $26,750. Let me ask you something. Why do you suppose the bank sold us that mortgage for $26,750? I can tell you, people ask me that all the time. Why would the bank sell at a discount? Well, the answer is because that's how this industry works. We didn't invent this stuff, and we certainly aren't changing anything. This is just how it's done. When banks transfer their loans between one bank to the next, they do them with a discount, going from one to the next, right? So it's not an unusual scenario. This was a pretty decent discount. We had a $19,000 discount, almost $20,000 discount between those 2 numbers. And because we only had $26,750 invested in this note, that means that our $26,750 was actually earning 17%. Now that's a wonderful return right there. That's why we still have this note, right? We're earning 17% every single year that we own this mortgage note. And this deal cash flows $413 a month because that's their mortgage payment. So $413 every single month. So let's look at my joint venture partner who put up the money, because I didn't put up a nickel for this note. And this is what I'm teaching you guys today. You don't have to come up with the money. If you can structure the deal, negotiate the deal, make it happen, there's plenty of money out there. And here's why people with money are happy to put their money with you. Take a look at this guy's position. The guy who funded this deal for me, with me, I should say. He put up $26,750 to buy the note. Okay. Instantly, we had a discount of almost 20 grand on this note, as you can see, because the people still owed us $46,000. If they were to sell that house the next day after we bought the note, they'd have to pay us $46,000. They do not know that we only paid $26,750 for their note. That's none of their business. That's between us and their mortgage company, right? So all they know is that they owe us $46,000. So there's instant equity in this note for us, which is unlike traditional real estate. There's not instant equity. With traditional real estate, you got to wait until the property value goes up so you can see some equity. Here, no. We had almost $20,000 in equity the day we bought the note. And that's how note investing works, because you get a discount. Now, the way that I structured this deal with the money partner is I said, look, you get 70% of the monthly payment. I'll take 30% of the monthly payment. I gave him 70% because he put up the money. I thought, well, why not? Okay. I don't have any money invested. So my 30% is just free and clear right into my pocket. And I'm good with that. So let me show you how the numbers work out. Also, we agreed that that $19,000 there, if that money came in early through some sort of an early payoff, we would split it 50-50. That's the deal. Okay. That's how I structured that JV. And to this day, I still structure my JVs the same way. And I have a lot of them. Okay. So my JV partner's position is this. He's invested $26,750. He's getting 70% of $413, which is $289 a month on a $26,000 investment. Okay. After 15 years, he will have been paid back a total of $52,000, almost double what he invested. And for him, that's great. He likes it, right? He likes it. Now, if a person, now this guy paid cash, but someone can do this inside their IRA. You know, anybody who's been working for, for a company for a long time, they probably have a retirement account, some sort of a 401k or IRA. They can invest the $26,000 from that into this deal. And that $289 a month will go right into their retirement account. So it doesn't have to be people who are sitting on cash, right? Maybe you know someone who has a motorhome or some other toys that they are willing to sell in order to create some wealth, start creating wealth for themselves, right? So here's what he's earning. He's earning 10.09% each year that he is invested in this investment. Is that a decent return today for people? 10.09? I'd say so. Yeah. Yeah, it says, yeah. Yep, Ronnie Bass says, you got it. Yeah, so that is a decent return. That's why he's doing it. His money's working at 10%. That's why he's willing to put up to $26,000, because his money's working at 10%. And you can show him all this before he ever puts up the money. You can just literally run through the numbers with him and say, here's what we're paying for this thing. Here's what your 70% is going to be. Here's what your return is going to be. Boom. You interested? Thumbs up, thumbs down, right? Whatever. He's also got an increase in his net worth instantly, doesn't he? Because think about this for just a second. The $19,000, half of it's his. So he has an increase in his net worth of $9,600 the day he buys the note. So it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. For him, this is a safe investment because we have this real estate that if people don't pay us back, we get the real estate. The real estate is worth $65,000, right? We've only got $26,000 invested. So we would get the real estate. If we took the property back, we would get the real estate. We sell it for $65,000. We pay our attorney, we pay our realtor, and let's say we get $55,000. Then we take the $55,000, give our partner back his $26,000, and then we split what's left 50-50. That's how we structure the joint ventures. It's a win-win. So now let's look at my position, because this is what we're talking about today, how you can do what I did and why it's not that hard. Here's how it works out for me. I'm collecting 30% of the monthly payment. That's $124 a month. Okay? That's my part. And I don't have any money invested. And so over a 15-year period, I will collect a total of $22,300. Passive income with zero investment. That means that my return on investment is infinity. I have no money in the deal. It's just income that comes into me because I had the expertise and the business connections to structure the deal, to negotiate the deal. So it starts here, guys. It starts here. I try to stress that with my people that are. It starts here. First things first, you need to learn and become well-versed in this space so that when you open your mouth, people say, wow, he knows what he's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. That's the name of the game. If you get that down, people will invest with you because people are looking for places to put their money where it's safe. The stock market's not safe, yet most people have their money in the stock market. And why do they do that? Because they don't know where else to put it. They know they need to do something. They don't want to collect 0.5% in the bank, right? Or 0.25% or even 1% in the bank if they can take a chance, the stock market averages, what, 8 or 9% historically, they feel like, yeah, I'll play the odds. I was just at a party Saturday, and I was talking with a guy who was telling me his stocks over the past 2 years have lost. And I said, I thought the stock market was doing good. He said, well, it really depends on what you're invested in. And that's obvious, right? So apparently the stuff he was invested in didn't do so well. That can happen, guys. That can happen. And so even when the market's hot, just because the Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped up does not mean that the people that you know are doing well in the market. And then by the time they deduct all the fees that their stockbrokers and financial planners are charging them, maybe they're not doing well at all. Maybe they're just barely staying ahead, if at all. So what you can bring to people is a much better option. It's not complex and it's not volatile like the stock market, right? You can bring that to the table. So let me move on with this here. All right. So you can see my position is not bad, right? I have $124 a month coming in for the next 15 years. And you do the math on that, that means that I'm owed $22,300. That's the value of this joint venture to me. $22,300 is the value of this joint venture to me. And I have no money invested. So how do you become a millionaire with this? Here's what you do. You just rinse and repeat, as they say, right? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. If you did this once a month for 4 years, that's 48 times. Look at the numbers. For me, now we're looking at my side, $124 a month. Now, obviously, every note's different. I've got notes where my part of the note is $500. $700, I think, is the biggest one that I've got. Right? And I've got one where my part, my 30% is like $60. I don't care if it's $60 or if it's $600. It's coming to me every month. Okay, I'll take $60 every month. That's a nice dinner out, right? I mean, so that's what I'm talking about. So you do this 48 times and look what happens for you. Now you got, if you're averaging $124 a month, which my average is right now probably around $170 a month. But if you're averaging $124 a month, you got almost $6,000 a month in passive income. I'll think on that one for just a minute. Almost $72,000 a year in passive income, and you don't have, how much do you have invested? Nothing. Expertise is what you brought to the table. Business connections is what you brought to the table. You didn't have to bring money, because there's people out there that want to earn 8, 9, 10% on their money. And if you have the deal that will pay them 8, 9, or 10%, they will put the money into the deal. Okay? They'll put the money into the deal. Anthony says this: the ability to negotiate with the bank or the note seller is key. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You need to be able to get a decent return, right? So that even after doing a 70-30 split, Anthony, your partner still does well, because you want your partner to do well. And by the way, not everybody's looking for 10%. I mentioned to you that I used to live in a senior community, and I remember my next door neighbor, a 90-year-old woman, came to me at that time, and she said, she was so excited because she knows that I'm an investor. I've never, ever talked to her about joint venturing with me. I didn't talk to anybody over there about joint venturing with me. But she knew that I was an investor. And she came to me, she was so excited because she said, Desi, guess what? I'm earning 5% on my money now. And I said, Barbara, that's fantastic. Congratulations. 5%. Okay. I could have given her 6 all day, right? I could buy a note that pays 9%, give her 6 and keep 3 for myself. She'd be as happy as a clam, obviously, and I'd be happy too. Okay. So there's people out there, not everybody's looking for 10% or 12%. Some people are afraid of those big yields. They think that the big yields mean big risk, and they're happy with 5, 6, 4, right? I mean, that's just the reality, guys. That's the truth of it. So understand that, yes, being able to negotiate a good discount is very important. But you can do well because we see notes all the time, Anthony. We see notes all the time that pay 9, 10, and 11%, 12%, all the time. That's what, no negotiations. That's just what they pay. Okay. You can negotiate sometimes and get it even better, but that's just what they pay. So right out of the gate, you can start making money. Now, here's something that I thought was really interesting. We're talking about getting 48 joint venture partners over a period of time. Now, I did it personally, I did it in about 2 years. You can do it in 4 years or 40 years. It's up to you, right? Nobody's going to do it for you. I did it in about 2 years. But I put this plan together to show people that if you just did one a month for 4 years, this is where you'd wind up at almost $6,000 a month. And by the way, I think you'd be higher because I think your average is going to be higher. It's going to be higher than $124. This is a pretty small note. Okay. It's going to be higher than that. It's just the reality of it. So you'll probably be making $7,000 to $8,000 a month with 48 of these. But here's what's interesting. It's only 48. It's only 48. Let's call them clients. It's only 48. Can you imagine saying to a doctor after going through medical school, right? Spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to become a physician. Then you say, look, doc, you get 48 patients, and you'll be a millionaire and you'll have 100 grand a year coming in for the rest of your life. The doctor would look at you like, what? That doesn't even compute. Because the doctor knows he needs to see 48 patients a day in some cases, right? Or 48 patients a week. What we're talking about here is 48 partners in some period of time. I don't think you need to stretch it out for 4 years, but I just wanted to try to make it easy for those of you that are a little bit, shall we say, casual. For those of you that are a little bit casual in your approach to things. I'm not casual. I was 63 years old. I didn't have time to be casual. I need to get at it, right? And certainly, if I were younger, I could have done it in half that time. I could have done it in a year. I just didn't have the drive to do that, but I certainly wasn't casual about it. So I just want you guys to know you can do this. It's totally doable, okay? This is, Ronnie Bass says, casual is the new lazy. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that Prince song, that Prince sang where he says his boss said he was a little too leisurely. Okay. A little too leisurely. No, don't be leisurely. Don't be casual. Get on this because this is life changing here. This will change everything for you. You know, I don't know what $7,000 or $6,000 a month would do for you in your life. Maybe it's enough to completely quit your job. I don't know. But if it's not, you don't have to stop at 48, do you? There's nothing preventing you from going to 49 or whatever number you choose. Okay. So here's the thing though. At this point, I have, in this example, I've got 48 of these $22,000 value notes, right? Each of these notes is valued at $22,000 for me because I'm owed $22,000 on each of these notes. I have 48 of them. What's that worth? That's my net worth right here, just from these notes. So literally, my net worth makes me a millionaire from these notes. I have $6,000 a month coming in, roughly $1 million in net worth, guys. That's how you do this stuff. That's how you do this. There's nothing hard about it. You just need to know where to look for people with the money, how to approach them. The notes are going to be, if you're in the business, the notes will be coming your way. At the beginning, it's a little bit tougher to find, but over time, as you become known as a note person, people will bring you notes to take a look at. Also, there are things that you can do to find notes. You can do mailers. You can do phone calls. You can go on Craigslist. You can go on certain websites. You learn all that stuff when you get into the Note Investor University. But that's how this stuff works. Let me just see here, guys. So the opportunity is big. I don't know if you're interested, if you're serious about it, but the opportunity is big. If you're serious about it, you should probably head on over to my website, which is investbrilliantly.com. At investbrilliantly.com, as I said earlier, you can You can learn more about note investing. I have free information there, but you can also sign up for our coaching at the Note Investor University. And we have classes there that will walk you through. As a matter of fact, we have a new program that we're rolling out. It is, we can now offer the NIS certification, which is Note Investing Specialist certification. So if you want to actually become a note investing specialist where you know you've been trained at a high level, then that's what you'll want to do. You'll want to enroll in our NIS certification program. Think about that for a second. If you're talking to someone, potential, relative, whatever, and you've been certified, you're no longer just a note investor. You're a certified note investor. I mean, that's got to carry some weight, just like an accountant versus a certified public accountant, right? A CPA. I mean, it carries some weight, right? So that's the beauty of it. That's going to help you in raising capital. And raising capital is the name of the game. It doesn't matter whether you're investing in notes or real estate. If you learn how to raise capital, there's nothing to stop you, right? If you guys have ever heard of Grant Cardone, I think everybody has. He made that his mission to be known. You know, he raises millions and millions of dollars, and now he owns, what, 10,000 apartments. But he didn't use his own money for that stuff, guys. He learned how to raise capital, how to attract other people's money. He knew how to find the deals. He knew how to negotiate and structure those deals. Other people put the money in, and that's how you become wealthy. That's how I became wealthy. That's how I'm watching some of our other students becoming wealthy. It's how Patrick became wealthy. That's how my daughter is becoming wealthy. Guys, this is how it's done. So here you go. Note investing is a way for you to really, really turn things around. I'm glad you guys made it here today. I went a little bit long on my show. Sorry about that, but I get all ramped up over this stuff, especially because I know it works. And I know that all a person really needs to do is to get the training and then implement what you learn. If you'll do that, there's nothing to prevent you from growing and becoming, building your portfolio to wherever you want it to be. Certainly nothing should stop you. I mentioned 48 of these things. I can tell you I don't know this guy personally, but I know of him, a real estate agent. He was a RE/MAX real estate agent, got into the note space. Last time I heard, he had 7,000 of these, 7,000 notes in his portfolio. Can you imagine that? If he's only making $100 per note, we're talking serious cash, guys, serious cash. I know plenty of people with 300 notes in their portfolio, and they buy them using other people's money. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. Right now, I think I'm somewhere around 65 or 70-ish, right around there, somewhere right around that number. And, you know, I have all the money that I need. I have other sources of income as well. And I'm going to be 69 years old in about 60 days. So, and I just don't want to work as hard as some of you younger guys should be working. And I said should be. I don't know if you are, but you should be. There's a real opportunity here. Get on over to investbrilliantly.com. Sign up for the Note Investor University. Let me teach you how to do this stuff. Let me mentor you on how to do this stuff. And get yourself out of being broke. Now, I'm not saying that you're broke, but you know what I'm saying. Put yourself in position where you can tell your boss what to do with the job, right? Put yourself in position where you can teach this to your children and you can say, look, I can show you how you'll never have to worry about getting a job. I can help you do that. And you can do this with your kids. So, and you guys, you need to do that. You need to pay this information forward. Thank you guys so much. Ronnie Bass says, wow, wow, wow. And I'm sure he was talking about that guy with the 7,000 notes, because that's what I said the first time I heard about him too. And yeah, I have a friend who knows him personally and said, yeah, he got 7,000 notes. Crazy, crazy, crazy. There's a lot of money in it and there's a lot of opportunity. And most of all, there's financial freedom in it, guys. Take advantage of it. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining me on Note Investing for Newbies. I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Share this, please. Share this information. I would really, really appreciate it. Okay? God bless you.